Have you ever found yourself at the store wondering just what kind of coffee filter should I buy? Well, we're going to find out which is the best one today, right here and right now. Whoa! So here we are. We've got coffee filters. So if you've ever wondered what coffee filter should I buy, these are many of the coffee filters that are on the market today. I thought we would do a tasting of all the filters that I could find and see which one is the best. All right, let's get into it. First up is the Kalita 101. This is a 1 to 2 cup coffee filter. It's made in Japan by the Kalita Corporation. There's another Kalita here, the 155 Wave. And this one's more of a basket style for the Kalita basket filters. So if you're not too familiar, there are different styles of pour-over brewers, and there are wedge-shaped, conical-shaped, and then there's a basket-shaped. And the Kalita makes basket-shaped ones, or a majority of them are basket-shaped. This is the Kalita 185. And then, of course, the famous one in the specialty coffee world is the Hario V60. This is the O2 VCF O2 4DW, and this is made in Japan. I believe these are the original run of these filters. So they went to two different factories. This is the first original one, and then here in the 100 count bag is also the same model, VCF-02 100W, the 100 meaning the count of the coffee filters. These were made at a different factory, and you can supposedly you can tell because it comes in this crinkly kind of plastic packaging. We've got the Daiso. We saw this in another video before. This is the Daiso 34, and the Daiso 34 is a 1 to 2 cup filter, and it has 90 filters in a pack, again in the crinkly sounding paper. It says it's made from 100% virgin pulp. Then there's the Daiso number 39, and the number 39 filter does 4 to 7 cups and comes 70 to a package, unbleached, again 100% virgin pulp. Then we have the Kono. The Kono is a little bit less well known here in the United States, but it's really another great company that does coffee brewers a little bit fancier, a little bit more expensive. This is the KS40, and the KS40 comes 40 to a package, and also is a 4 cup filter. All right, next up we've got the Brewista. It's called the Flat V Cone Filter 452, and it's from a company out of Wyoming. We've also got the more grocery store Wegmans. This is the Wegmans, just regular number 4 cone filters, bleached, 100 to a pack. The Everyday Essentials, this one you pick up at like regular grocery stores online or whatever. Natural 2 brown, they come with 40 to a pack. Next up is the Melitta No. 2 coffee filter, and the Melitta is kind of the classic. You know, this was the one that started it all. Basically, the story goes that there was a woman in 1908, a German housewife by the name of Melitta Braun. She kind of was fed up with how coffee was really bitter, and she wanted to do something about it, so she took her brass cup, she punched some holes in the bottom, and then she took her son's blotting paper, put it in the bottom of the cup, and then put the coffee, poured the water over it, and basically made her first pour-over coffee. This one is actually made in the United States. It has what they call flavor-enhancing micro-perforations. So from my understanding is that as the filters are being made, they run them through this machine that actually puts holes in them, which helps to promote better water flow through the filter. This is the Melitta No. 4. It's a bamboo coffee filter, and it's made using 40% bamboo. Comes 80 to a package, and it's also made in the United States. The Melitta in particular are made from cellulose fiber of pine and spruce trees from southern Scandinavia. I'm not really clear if they bring the pine and spruce that are grown in Scandinavia to the United States. The idea behind the Melitta is that they are using a structure of fibers that will allow a flow rate of 3 ounces in 40 seconds. 30% of the cellulose that they're using is actually left over from previous production. So this is kind of their newer sustainable resource kind of coffee filters. Then we have the Filtropa. This is one made in the Netherlands, and I've actually been using this off and on for 10 years, so I think they're really great filters, nice quality. Number 4, there's 100 to each pack. They all follow pretty much the same, similar sizing, either developed by Melitta or by Hario. And then we have the anomalies are everywhere. Where's my anomaly? Because we're tasting all these paper filters, I thought, well, why not toss in a couple of the oddballs? So we've got the AeroPress microfilter, and the microfilter is strictly for the AeroPress. I guess you could fold it and crimp it so that it could fit a really, really tiny pour over, but it's really just for the AeroPress. And then, of course, there's the American Chemex. And the Chemex, I wanted to use this because, you know, the Chemex is a very American product. It uses pine cellulose to make the filters. It's very proprietary to the company, and they're very tight-lipped about it. These are our filters. Oh, right. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the filters and we're going to check them out. So let's get into it. The first one we're going to do is the Daiso number 34. There we go. Daiso number 34. So the Daiso 34 has a textured surface, as you can see here. The texturing is done to fit paper filters to increase the amount of area as well as increase filtration speed. So we've got that nice texture on the outside, and then a really smooth, it's really smooth and kind of silky on the inside. So the Daiso 39 in unbleached, the Daiso 39, like the 34, has some texturing. The texturing is a little bit different. But the Kalita 185, it's not a basket filter per se. These are a lot more conical shape. It is textured, so that helps to, you know, increase flow. So we've got the Kalita Wave filter number 155. This one, oh yeah, there is a texture difference. So you can kind of see it here. There's ridges, right? That texture, that crepe texture, but on this one, it's comparatively smooth. It is smoother and doesn't have that crepe texture. All right, so then the next Kalita is the Kalita 101. This has some texturing again, right? And then on the inside, oh, so this is definitely different. Like, it doesn't have that slick satiny coating on the inside. It's basically the same crepe pressing on the interior. All right, so this is the Hario. It does have, again, this crepe style. And then in the interior, it's actually the same type of creping again. Not much difference between the exterior and the interior. Now we're going to do the 100 count Hario V60 filter. Oh, there's definitely a decided difference. Like, the way that they flop feels different. This feels slightly heavier than this one. Like, that was the first thing I noticed when I pulled it out of the packaging, that it was a little bit more floppy. This is the floppier one. This is the one from the 100 count. This is the 40 count. So if I hold it by the same way, you can see the difference, right? The texture right there. The interior of the 100 count O2 V60 filter, actually the interior has more pronounced creping than the exterior, which is unlike the others. Like we said before, the creping is increasing the surface area as well as increasing the flow for the water. So the Kono, for some reason, I think just has nice packaging, simple. So the Kono definitely has a different feel. So with the crepe texturing, you can see that here. Right? It's a little bit wider. Kind of reminds me of paper towels here in America, as far as the creping. And the interior, also same kind of creping as on the exterior. But it feels nice. It's a nice feeling. Actually, it feels nice. I mean, I don't know how much that counts for the actual brewing, but hey, it feels nice. So the Brewista Essentials has a convenience tab to help you. Oh, actually, it's on both sides of the paper, so it's not much convenient. Although the crimping, just offhand, looks a little bit harder. Texture, I would say maybe a slight crepe, but it's relatively smooth. The interior is a little bit about the same texture. You know, actually, after feeling these Japanese ones, these feel a little bit harder. Then let's go into the more generic. So like the essentials, the essential everydays, and the Wegmans. These, of course, are more grocery level brands, but you know they're available. So we wanted to taste them as well. And just because they're a grocery brand does not mean that we should count them out. All right. So the everyday essentials is a 40 count, 1 to 4 cup, in a natural brown finish. Not really any texturing or creping on the exterior. About the same on the interior too. Yeah. Nice. Seems like a simple, decent coffee filter. Let's go to the Wegmans. Look, it's got the convenient resealable bag. So here we are. There's some light texturing. It's not a heavy texture or anything like that. The convenience tab, right? This one right here. This is actually only on one side of the filter paper, so it's easy to just pull like this and separate. Unlike the Brewista that was cut on both sides, which means that it doesn't really give you any advantage, this one it even has a little bit of an indentation. These Wegmans people, they're very, the texture, let's look at the texture. No creping, it's just smooth paper. Right. Interior is also smooth. Now we'll go to the Melitta, the original. So this is the original number 2. Probably quite different than what Melitta Braun first started back in 1908. The Melitta, number 2. Look at that. You could see the perforations, right? And those are the perforations, like it says here on the packaging. It's flavor enhancing. So these are supposed to allow more flow through the filter. So that's really the main texture that you feel on both sides. And then on the interior, you can kind of feel it. Of course, it's more pronounced on the outside than it is on the in. So it makes me think the perforations were placed before they were folded and then seamed. And then here's something else that I just noticed. So the Wegmans has a very simple crimping, right? Just a single row, which is also the same from the Essentials. Just a single row of crimping. But I noticed on the Brewista, double row of crimping. And when we look at the Melitta, double row of crimping. Now, makes me wonder, are these Melittas? Let's look at the number 4s. These are the Melitta number 4 Bamboo. When I saw this at the store, I wasn't sure if I was going to buy this or not. But then I just decided, you know what, we're doing a tasting. We might as well taste as much as we possibly can. Well, this is 40% bamboo. Here we are, the texture. It does have the perforations. It feels like there's perforations. Oh yeah, you can totally see it now. There's definitely perforations. A little bit of creping, I think, under the perf, but it's a little bit hard to tell. And then the inside. Question was, who makes the Brewista? Is it Melitta? So let's look here. This is, I mean, those are, well, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Because here, take a look at this, right? So look here. If you look at the way that these are seamed together, the way they're sealed, you can see that there are 2 rows, one of larger and one of smaller. But if you look carefully at the Melitta, the smaller ones on the edge of the Melitta are right at the edge, whereas the Brewista are not as to the edge. Right? The seaming is not as precise. Now we're going to our Filtropa. Here we are again with this double seam. Doesn't really have creping. It's pretty smooth, right? It's slight. Well, there's a slight creping, but these guys put the convenience tab. Again, they do it right by having it only on one side with a notch. Very nice. Texture's about the same on the interior. And then finally the Connoisseur. This is actually the filters we use at Spro. So this one, the craping is not as pronounced. Very light. It also has the convenience tab with the indentation, the cutout there. These have been filters we've been using for a long time. I think they're great. But again, there's the seam, single seam. Now let's go to the kind of the oddballs of our group. We've got the Chemex, and the Chemex is actually a pine-based cellulose fiber. It is unique to Chemex. In my mind, it is the filter that makes the Chemex. And so these are a little bit different. These are folded circles. They don't really have craping. It actually looks more kind of like parchment paper than the others. So you fold it up, and so it's different that it's folded up into a cone that you open up, and there's actually 3 folds on one side and then 1 fold on the other. And then we have our AeroPress. That doesn't make any sense why you might need more craping, because the way that this works, you're putting this inside a little holder that just pushes the coffee through. But I decided we'd toss this in. When I started out making this video, I thought it was going to be just one video. But as I got into the editing process, I realized that, my goodness, it's quite a lot of footage. There's a lot of information. And if we want to get really into the detail about it, it's going to be a long video. I decided I'm going to break it up into at least 2 parts, maybe 3. This is just the first part, but I thought it was really important to get into a lot of the detail about each of the coffee filters, as well as the different points as far as their craping and all of the different aspects about it. But I wanted to really make sure that you got that value out of it so that you would be able to understand which coffee filters might be the best one for you. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how these filters perform. We're actually going to be doing a tasting of the filters by immersing them in water and then seeing how it goes from there. So make sure you check that one out, because that's going to be coming up soon. And I hope you're finding the coffee content really interesting. We'll be producing a lot more, and so make sure that if you want to catch up with that, hit the subscribe button and then maybe the bell so you can be notified whenever these new videos come out. So let me know in the notes what you think below, and what are you looking for? What are you interested in? If you're enjoying the coffee content, take a moment to check out our videos. We've got a whole bunch of playlists, both here and at our Spro Coffee channel. So remember, Spro Coffee here on YouTube as well. I'll put the link in the description below, and well, we're already pushing 18 minutes, so that's enough.